What? I didn't know that. So he changed his story. That's sus. Are they good reasons? Are they bad reasons? That's up to you to decide. If you can remember when you averaged 17, did you ever drop a 4? I doubt it. Confession was beat out of him. Not literally. I mean, I'm not saying that they are racist or not, okay, but it was a little strange. Jupiter was at closest orbit to Earth than any other competitions I've been to. Its gravitational pull made me turn in the opposite direction on the L and B layer, and it solved the cubes for me. Based. The chance that even a few random turns do anything is 1 in a trillion, 1 in 13 quintillion. Am I right, everyone? Am I right? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, the judge said it was fine, so I said it was fine. Sir. Oh, poor Martin. Everyone's changing their story, and it's everyone's fault but Martin's is what I'm getting from this. You need to see the report. Sounds like a lot of wow. It does, eh? If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a cuber cheating. Valid. He said, wow, wow, wow. Everyone hates me. It was real, I swear. It was real, I swear. It was everyone else's fault but mine. We're all being unfair to Martin. He invented a new method on the spot, and we just didn't understand it. He's just operating on a different level. Here's the situation, everyone. Speedcubing made a video. Quite a good one, actually. I mean, he always does. He always makes them good. He always makes those bangers. Look at god dang, 362,000 views. Well, I'll be damned. But this is a story that anyone can kind of enjoy.
This is Martin Telesforo.
It sure is.
He's about to get banned after just his 3rd Rubik's Cube competition ever. On a Saturday in May of 2013, coming off of Matt Falk's historic...
What we're not going to do is watch all of Speedcube's video. You should go and watch that if you haven't watched it already. You may know this story already. Let me give you some context, okay? Back in 2013, a gentleman called Martin Telesforo. He has some beautiful middle names as well. Martin Telesforo set a 4.41 world record. Or did he? Or did he? It was deemed illegal for reasons. Are they good reasons? Are they bad reasons? That's up to you to decide. It was oh no, wrong screen. Sorry, everyone. For goodness sake. It was he's like a 17 at the time. He was like a 17-second average. And he then busted out a 4.41 single. That's suspicious for sure. Straight away, that's suspicious. And for reasons that Speedcubing will go into now in his video. All right, watch this. Watch this. Watch this, everyone. Shut up, everyone. Watch
There's
this.
something you have to understand about this solve. A 17-second.
This is where we need Stu's giant brain.
An average of 3 to 4 turns per second. The sheer amount of luck needed for a 4.
It was a 35 move solution as well.
18 move solution. The average solution length from a top level solver is 55. But 18 isn't impossible. The rule of God's number states that the cube can always be solved in 20 moves.
Of course.
No matter how scrambled it is. And there are currently 3 humans in the world who could feasibly do this, given about an hour or so to find an optimal solution. Right. Just one problem. Martin Telesforo had 15 seconds to look at the cube before starting the timer. If a solution this... He solved the cube very, very fast. Like, I averaged 21. And you know that a freak solve for me is 16 or 17. Okay? I'm not comparing myself to Martin. I'm just giving you some context about what is lucky in that realm. So, and think about your own scrambles. Your own practice and your own solving. If you're someone who averages 17, or if you can remember when you averaged 17, did you ever drop a 4? I doubt it. The freakiest solve I've ever had is a Smart Cube solve, which was a 12. On the Chi Smart Cube. That's half my time. And that was absolutely freakish. I'll never hit a 12. What are you talking about? I'm never going to hit one of those in competition. But I hit a 12, and that was like, that's freakish, okay? For anyone who's watching who's not a cuber, or like hasn't practiced that much or whatever, is a beginner, to hit half of your average is absolutely freakish, right? Back me up in the chat. Back me up in the chat if that's fair. And he did it in like a quarter of the time. So that was what raised flags, is what I'm trying to tell you, okay? Speedcube's gonna... I should have timestamped this. It would not come from someone like Telesforo. He couldn't have just gotten lucky. His solution had to be, at the very least, under God's number. Beyond perfection itself. Telesforo would actually go on to show everyone at Perry Open 2013 exactly how he did.
Very quick with the reconstruction there as well, which is a bit suspicious too, as we'll find out.
His solution was 35 moves. And this is where things officially start.
Here's the great explanation from, and this is where we need Stu's brain.
The he allegedly got doesn't seem lucky at all, but Telesforo's first 20 moves were perfect. With a little bit of luck along the way in the form of an OLL skip, his solutions seem feasible to be executed in 4.41. In a statement after the competition, Telesforo claimed it was confirmed that my solve was correctly executed and the scramble was correct. But as impressive as this perfect solution was, that wasn't even the strangest part, as Telesforo would then go on to mention that he made a mistake in the
execution, and then I decided to improvise some moves, he said. Now, let's just think about what he said there. Listen to me carefully, everyone. At any point in any solve, have you ever improvised? In the true sense of the word? Have you ever gone, oh, I might just give this one a spin and see what happens? That's not really how you solve a cube, right? Like, that's not really what happens there. That's not really believable, is it?
And decided to improvise some turns. Yes, the most perfect solve of all time had a mistake.
So how can you do those? How can you do that F2L? Well, and I just watch this from Stu.
Conveniently, one of the only ways to explain the randomness of his first couple of moves. It was like magic. They follow no distinguishable solving method and are completely illogical.
So I suppose it does line up. I suppose if Stu is saying here, and other people who have analyzed the solve are saying it doesn't follow any pattern, any method that we know, that combined with him saying, oh, I just improvised some moves, you could argue that those stories line up, but I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. What do we need to be keeping in mind here? All the methods, it just doesn't make sense.
Telesforo's world records.
What this person is not, by the way, he is not an FMC solver. He's never competed in FMC. I had a look at his profile. Did I? Oh, I don't have it here. I'll have to look that up. Hold on. World. Oh my God! World Cube Association. I can't. As soon as I let you see me type, it just all goes to biscuits. Telesforo. So he competed in 2 competitions before this one. In 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and OH. No FMC, so not exactly a wizard. Why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because I don't know, why am I telling you that? I suppose you could argue that he's kind of taken the solve and scrambled it, taken the solve and studied it, taken the scramble and studied it. Far out. You could argue that maybe he's taken the scramble and studied it, but would that lead you to believe that he should have been competing in FMC, or at least would he have tried FMC? I don't know. I don't know, actually. I don't really know why I'm doing that, why I'm going there, but this is kind of
solve can effectively be
an allegation.
The first 20 moves were done in an impossibly optimal way, at least on paper. When actually attempting to execute these moves in a speed solve,
now this part is very interesting as well. We are going to move on to his interview soon.
Kevin Hayes tried to beat the 441 with the exact same scramble and solution from the world record, and after 100 tries, he barely managed to get a 4.34.
So we're going to review what Stu just said there. It took Kevin Hayes 100 tries to do the solution in the way that Martin did it. It took him 100 tries to get it to 4.41, which suggests, I suppose, that Martin would have had to practice it. to get it right. And Stu's going to go on to mention one other very, very important thing to remember.
The second part of the solve gave it an easily spammable and fast finish, but the fact that all 6 faces of the cube are turned during these first 20 moves of the solution made people extremely skeptical of
6 faces turned. My understanding is that that's not only unusual, but also really janky. I need a speedster in the chat to confirm that. I believe Stu. But if I think... You know, are you doing downs and backs and L's? You're probably rotating, aren't you? So that you can use... R's and U's are where you want to be. Am I right? R's and U's are where you want to be most of the time. Especially for high TPS stuff. But and in an actual solve, you would lean towards R's and U's for F2L. Am I understanding that right? Or am I goofing around here? I might be goofing around, but the fact that all 6 faces are turned are also suspicious. What regulations were actually broken are essentially my understanding from the videos I've watched. There was a whole bunch of... well, we know that the scrambles were not hidden at the event. We know that they weren't hidden at the event from what Stu says here.
Multiple people at the competition who confirmed the world record and claimed to have seen it happen. The WCA still decided to disqualify the result.
No, it's from that.
Telesforo did somehow pull off this solve and has been...
Sorry, bear with me, everyone. There's a shot of all the scrambles sitting on a table, uncovered, and that is like the one real bit of evidence of it not being legitimate.
Shows the delegate, Ruiz, celebrating Telesforo's world record.
I think it's here.
Quickly became the main catalyst for some extreme suspicion. It's here where we arrive at one of the only feasible ways he could have actually pulled this off. You see, Telesforo said he remembered to swing for it. That video shows tone isn't nearly enough to prove anything. But then came a much more troubling detail. This video shows Telesforo posing with the timer, but just feet away was a scramble.
There it is. Okay, so this is something that you still have to expand on this though, because it would still be unlikely that he could have seen one of these and come up with that solution. You know what? I've not seen anyone... Hold on, let me finish that thought. It's unlikely that he would have been able to see this and just in the background while at the competition working out this perfect solution, right? FMC solvers can take up to an hour to pull off decent FMC solutions, you know what I mean? Yeah, Mango, I saw that about the exposed scrambles. Yeah. So yeah, the simple fact that the scrambling table wasn't protected should invalidate every solve, world record or not. True. This is probably enough to invalidate this event, if not the competition. I'm not sure. Oh, I don't have the incident report, which I should have had actually. Did Stu link to it? No, but if anyone can find the incident report, that would be great, because then we can find out if the competition itself was the Perry Open 2013. Perry Open 2013. So the competition is still there. Here we go. It's right here. Information. The results of this competition were not accepted. See decision. Oh, the decision's gone. Sorry, you won't be able to post links in the chat, guys. Sorry, if you're posting links, it won't be showing up. But this is the competition, and there's a little bit of info here. It's hidden behind the chat right now. There's a bit of information that says the results of this competition were not accepted. See the decision by the WDC. So the entire competition was removed. So this is going to be relevant when we get to his explanation. So the entire competition results were removed, including that one by him. Now, the point of today wasn't to just Signal Boost StuCube's video because it doesn't need signal boosting. He's much bigger than me and it's got 364,000 views, for goodness sake. But there's a video from 2 years ago. There's actually 2 videos from 2 years ago from, listen, it's JSCuber. He is someone who is accused of being a creeper, but unfortunately he's the only person that has this this content. So is what it is, everyone. He did 2 videos. The first one was this one. ¿Qué pasó con la entrevista con el feo? Crónicas Cuberas. That must be Cube Stories, I guess. This is the weirdest video ever because he just tries to have an interview, but then it rains, and then they had to reschedule. And they rescheduled it for like a year later, okay? Now, here he is. Here's Martin. And I believe in this video, he is going to state his case as to why, because he still maintains that it was real. So here we go. I've translated all this now. We've got questions are what goals did we have for the Perry Open? What were your impressions of the tournament? That might be a valid one to listen to. What was the 4.41 like and what happened right after? And what was going through your head when you did it? How did you find out you couldn't compete? I suppose that's like... No, let's skip to that, actually. Let's skip to... How did you find... ¿Cómo te enteraste de que no podrías competir? How did you find out you couldn't compete, and did they threaten you? This is all very badly translated, everyone. Because our friend here has opinions that do not match up with the WCA ruling and the opinions of the community. But I wanted to hear his own words. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to hear what he had to say about what happened. I'm just going to translate what's on the screen here. English to English? No thanks. Yeah, come on, translate. It's Spanish, you egg. No, English to... Sorry, everyone. Let me find Spanish here. Here we go. Spanish to English. Can you do it? Google Translate. Yes, I know that's Spanish. I would like it in English, please. Oh, it's not doing it. Google Translate has failed me on this one, but that's all right. If anyone speaks Spanish, you can let me know. So, subtitles, Spanish, subtitles, auto translate. This is as best as we can do today, everyone. Okay. Auto translate to LMNOP English. Okay, this is going to be janky, but it's the best we've got. Okay. What a terrible situation when I'm your best hope. Awful. Well, so the question he's been asked is, how did you find out you couldn't compete? And I think this is going to lead us towards his explanation. So I found out I couldn't compete because I was in contact with the dual citizens then. In fact, that must be the delegates. Then they made the decision, and what they did was ask me until I said something that they could take to make it invalid. So is that... Oh, Kiki, thank you. The Perry Open happened and competitions were banned in Mexico until further notice. The WCA told you that you couldn't compete for 2 years. Thank you. Okay, so this is post-ban. So he reckons he's been, like, interrogated until he said he did it. A confession was beat out of him. Not literally by the WCA. They were not looking to investigate if it was true. No, they are investigating to give it invalid because I say I gave them the contact information of kids who went to the tournament. Hold on, what's happening here? Is he talking about witnesses? I said, well, ask him. I don't know. And also someone passed me a scramble. I told him this algorithm was passed to me. I'm not saying that I'm doing it or I'm receiving it. And a friend of me passed me this. Sun could be scramble or solution. I don't know if you're aware of this, but it would be interesting if you investigate this. Their resolution, because the last one seems to coincide with what I said no better. Then you were saying that this is their final resolution. Someone like that seriously doing like basically... This is tough, everyone. Subtitles quit. The subtitles quit on me, everyone. That's not cool. Here we go. Trying to incriminate me if instead of really looking for what happened, like looking for a useful excuse for it to be done, so that they would even deny it. And I remember that a couple of kids who had gone to a World Cup... I don't agree here in this testimony, maybe? Where two, I heard them talking with... Bro's yapping, right? This is tough. Tougher than I thought it would be. The delegate... Okay, so I didn't want to come to Mexico. There's an allegation of racism here? I don't know what, and also confused me a little the fact that they wanted to blame me. I mean, I'm not saying that they are racist or not, okay, but it was a little strange that USA did not want to support Mexico in that sense, not in quickly starting the resolution. As if they wanted to leave it on hold. They sent a delegate from Latin America, or they didn't. They were trying to find any excuse to incriminate you. Okay, so JS is on side. To cancel the comp and to deny that if they hadn't said, no, we don't have the proof to validate it, let's say, I would have said you're saying no because it's valid. Okay, so it sounds as though he's defending himself for sure. What is this question back here? The question back here. What were your impressions of it? What was the 4-4-1 like and what happened right after it? 509. So I can see the tournament starting, or is illegal. I think it's saying the tournament containing the historic moment of the 4.41 was disputed. Maybe.
Okay.
For the solve, I want to tell you that one of my friends, Eduardo Lopez Bravo, dropped a minute.
Pues sí tiene chinos, pero no largo.
Entonces lo confundí.
Ajá, güerejo. Fue conmigo al torneo, ¿no?
Little friend to the tournament, I don't know what that means, and he said, I am your judge. Oh, that was his judge. And just when it was the first resolution of the 3x3 solve, I guess, resolution. And he said to me, I told him no. I know you well. I told him no because you are my friend, and no, I do not know if there could be a conflict of interest. I can't tell you what that says, but it's context. But so it's a mate of his that was judging, is what I'm hearing? Porque, that means because. Because after this I told him, no. Well, I went to sit in my place and my judge was only one I remember. What? So was his friend his judge? I began to solve the cube more or less of the cross and the two father's layers, maybe? I can't tell what that means. I remember you saw the scrambles from afar. I remember, you can see everything, so they're talking about the table. Then I did not agree. The tables, as you say, were a couple of tables had like a crack. Then when I put my cube, it just stayed in that crack, but without staying completely. Then when I tried to lift it, the cube gets stuck in this crack. And then that was made me turn the cube.
Cuando yo estoy practicando en casa, si no hice exactamente los movimientos, pues
if I do not do exactly the movements after that, it's not useful for me to practice it, so simply stir it, scramble it.
Fue cuando yo me di cuenta que el cubo se
A lot of excuses, eh?
en gran medida, ¿no?
Sí, sí.
Okay, hold on.
Cuando yo me di cuenta que el cubo se
And when I
había
realized that the cube had been
en gran
assembled or
medida,
solved to a large extent,
¿qué movimiento dice? No sé.
Sí, sí, sí.
Ajá. Y pues ya, ¿no? Ahí todo el mundo sabe que
and well, not everyone knows that I simply had to
un par y fue un
solve a bit.
y luego quedó una J, ¿no?
Sí, o sea, al final fue como sencillo, por así decirlo.
Ajá, sí.
Loki.
Ajá. Pero te digo, o sea, yo simplemente por eso.
But then it became out simply because of that habit of stirring, scrambling. That was if it did. Who knows what says no. Whew, this is tough, everyone.
Medio arruiné el sol, voy a revolverlo y ahí se armó una parte.
Ajá, de hecho yo ni siquiera pensé en automático.
Not even automatically. As soon as I am turning the cube, I started to turn it. Is he talking about the 411?
No, porque se atoró en la mesa y cuando lo agarro, como que se gira. Entonces, y eso yo no lo iba a hacer. Entonces agarro y simplemente lo empecé a revolver.
Start to stir it. And that was what happened at the beginning. Okay, so this sounds like he's talking about the beginning of the solve. He just picked it up and started spamming turns. Is my understanding of what I'm seeing here. He's talking about the beginning of the solve. And he just went into a habitual picking it up and started scrambling it is what he's suggesting. Is that, are we on board with that? Does that make sense as to that's what he's saying? I feel like that might be what we're talking about here. Because this is what was the 4.41 like. I remember a lot about Ernesto. Because being the judge, he would have seen everything. In fact, it is recorded. And because after that, I did not see that Esterno was not watching.
Porque yo estaba en lo del cubo, ¿no? Había otro chico a un lado, no me acuerdo de su nombre. Él vendía stickers.
There was another boy on one side, he was selling stickers.
No.
Man, Mexican comps in 2013 sound hectic. Sounds like a lot of excuses and blaming other factors instead of trying to defend the solve itself. True, eh? But he's still defending it. This is 2 years ago, but still defending it. Chang, Jupiter was at closest orbit to Earth than any other competitions I've been to. Its gravitational pull made me turn in the opposite direction on the L and B layer, and it solved the cubes for me. Based. Zafra, the chance that even a few random turns do anything is 1 in a trillion. 1 in 13 quintillion. Am I right, everyone? Am I right? Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Que vive ahí por el CSH Oriente, me parece. Entonces, cuando llega Uriel.
When Uriel arrived, so this must be the delegate, I think. He asked me what happened, and I told Uriel, and this Ernesto did not say anything. He was not simply there. There it is. I think it was 5 or 5 times without even having started, so hold on. So in the videos, you see how I am telling Uriel things, and Ernesto is saying yes, because Ernesto goes down the site, and in fact, they look for the videos, and you see as this as I am explaining, and in this he is saying yes, and that is why I say it at the beginning as true, because of the words of the judge. Oh, the judge said it was fine, so I said it was fine. Sir, Martin. He starts talking about the sun. Oh no, the solve. He doesn't mean the solve. I think he means. He doesn't mean the sun. I think he means the solve. I think this is a mistranslation. They gave it as good because in this he did see the solve. if Sun is solved. Yes, but when the delegate used it, they contact... Okay, so the judge did change the story then, according to the word of Martin. We're not sure if we necessarily trust it. The first strange case, the delegate first says yes. In fact, I tell you, there are videos that he is saying yes, 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 and then he says no. So, oh, poor Martin. Everyone's changing their story, and it's everyone's fault but Martin's, is what I'm getting from this. I need to see the report. I think we've probably heard enough from Martin right now. Would you agree, everyone? Have we heard enough from Martin right now? Did Speedcubing TV did they have... Oh no, hold on a minute. I'm just gonna turn the screen off here and look at my watch history. I'm learning, everyone. I'm learning not to like just show you everything. Here we go. So here we go. Long Island accents. I've listened to a lot of trash this morning. What was it last night? I watched it. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool.
Retired as a...
Curious Nick, we heard enough excuses. Yes, Queen. If you linked it earlier in the chat, it won't have come through. Chang, sounds like a lot of wow. It does, eh? Here we go. Good on ya, Mr. Matthew. Mr. Matthew over here at Speedcubing TV has linked the report. Good grief. What is this? Let's just read it, hey? Let's just go through it, champions. If I do this, zoop, yeah. That's what I want. Then you can see it too. Dear WCA community, this notice is in regards to... Well, let's just take a second and pause and go, okay, we've heard Stu's story. We've heard admittedly very poorly translated a bit of Martin's story. It did, to me, sound like a lot of excuses. I think. I should probably revisit that and just see if I can get a better translation. I wonder if I know a Spanish speaker who I could cajole into actually translating it for me instead of relying on Google. I must do. I must know someone who can speak Spanish. Anyway, we heard Stu's story. We heard some excuses from Martin and some propping up by JS. So let's see what the WCA said, okay? What do I want? That one. Dear WCA community, this notice is in regards to the Perry Open 2013 competition held in Distrito Federal in Mexico on May 25th, 2013 with Uriel Galloso Ruiz acting as a WCA delegate. Alright, so Uriel was the delegate. During the first round of 3x3, competitor Julio Martin Gomez Telesforo, isn't it a beautiful name though, recorded the following average of 5. See, look at this average of 5. Brother. Oh, I do have a Spanish speaker in the chat. Great. Hit me up on Discord if you are keen to do some translation for me, because I would appreciate that genuinely. Look at this average of 5, Timmies. 4.4. So it was the first solve as well. 4.4, then 18.9, 14.7, 18.6, 16.5. Sir, if you don't think that's suspicious, who are you kidding? The IAC, an old form of the WDC, I suppose, completed its own independent investigation of this incident, and the competitor confirmed to the IAC that his solution for the second solve was the solution here. Plus J-perm, where a J-perm is a case that can be solved with blah, blah, blah. As reported to the WCA by the IAC on May 31st, 2013, the competitor insisted that he solved the cube in this manner. The scramble of the solve in question, as reported by the WCA delegate. Oh, here we go, champions. Do you want the scramble? Here you go. Watch this. Scramble. And I'll give you the solution. 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 What? Oh, here we go. The solution was. Here we go. Here's the solution. All right. Here's what he reckons. That's your scramble, and that's your solution, everyone. Play along at home. Do we know the cross color? No, but I think, doesn't the solution, the X2, does that not tell you the orientation, sir? I understand that you might be a little bit behind. Okay, carrying on. Play along at home. As reported, the competitor insisted he solved the cube in this manner. The scramble of the solve in question, as reported by the WCA delegate. Okay, yeah. The competitor reports his solution to the above scramble to be X2. Moves improvised by competitor in JPerm. By applying JPerm before the scrambling sequence, we have the following sequence. Oh, gosh. The solution... if you want to read this... I think if you want to read this, which you might, everyone, okay, you might want to read this, and we'll pin this just now, hey? The optimal solution found by Cube Explorer for this sequence is blah, 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 and the improvised moves reported by the competitor are blah, 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 which is identical to the optimal solution found with some minor adjustments made at the end. That's sus, isn't it? The solution presented here is suspicious in several regards. First, the solve does not match previous descriptions of the solutions made by the competitor after the competition. What? I didn't know that. So he changed his story. Martin changed his story. That's sus. First of all, isn't it? And he's accusing other people of changing their stories. Second, the solve matches output from an optimal solving software, does not resemble any known solving methods, shout out StuCube, and does not have any logical flow. Additional shout out StuCube. Finally, the solve proposed does not seem amenable to executing in under 4.41 seconds as claimed by the competitor due to multiple turns on each face of the cube. Again, as demonstrated by Kevin Hayes in trying 100 times to get it as a 4.41. Chang in the chat reckons X2 means he was solving on white cross. I'll take your word for it. What is X2 in cube notation? To rotate the entire cube twice around its right face, like performing an R move twice. Yeah, you're right. White cross. Thanks, AI. AI knows more about cubing than I do. That's good, isn't it? I mean, it should. Okay. So second, the solve matches output from an optimal solving software, does not resemble any solving method, and does not have any logical flow. Finally, the solve proposed does not seem amenable to executing under 4.41 seconds as claimed by the competitor due to multiple turns on each face of the cube. Sorry, I've repeated myself. Given this information, we find that the competitor did not solve the WCA generated scramble for the round in question in 4.41 seconds by either the solution presented here or by another solution. WCA finds the competitor Julio has maliciously exploited the WCA and the organisers of Perry Open and declares that the 3x3 speed solve in 4.11 seconds is invalid and will be recorded as a DNF. Due to the dishonesty of the competitor and the attempted exploitation of Perry Open and the WCA by the competitor, the WCA prohibits the competitor, Julio, from participating in any WCA events until 2015. The WCA urges all WCA delegates and organisers to remain vigilant in their tournament operations. The WCA thanks the IAC for its diligent work and to the community members who supported the IAC's investigation. Regards, Tyson Mao, the PSL inventor. And WCA. Oh, there's Ron's there as well from the Dutch Cubing Association. Okay, so what do we know so far? What have we learned, everyone? We've learned that there was a ruling to make the solve illegal. We have not got to the competition being illegal yet. Chang is saying there's no cross at all. I'm going to have to look at this, aren't I? Okay. So he was banned for 2 years. So, Chang... Oh no, it's Chang in the chat. I beg your pardon. I thought this was you in the past. I'm going to go through all of this, okay? Because I think that we're going to get the full story here. In my opinion, IAC and WCA board should also consider if the delegate did his job right, based on the below explanations. How a competitor could do this, 4.41 case. I think there are only two ways. He got scramble sequences before the competition round. He used software during the round. There's only 15 seconds for inspection, by which I mean the regulation of inspection was not carried out completely and strictly. Okay, the delegate should be responsible for either of these two responsibilities. And the reason why delegate assisted this competitor to cheat and the carelessness. Suppose the competitor didn't make a 4.41 but a 9 or 8. I think maybe no one would doubt that result, and therefore a cheated result was given recognition and became legal. That's terrible. Oh, for goodness sake, sorry. And after some similar incidents, a lot of competitors will not believe the results, the rankings any longer. In conclusion, the delegate of this competition needs to be investigated too. And they're suggesting the WACA should cancel the qualification of the delegate. Dear Anonymous, thanks for your comment. Up to this point in time, was he supposed to be anonymous? Whoop. The IAC and the WCA board have only evaluated the 4.41 case. Investigations around the whole competition are still in progress. Sorry, I forgot to sign my name. I appreciate the IAC's work, and I think all keepers have a responsibility in making contributions to the fairness in competitions, so I gave the above suggestions. CS... I think that a lot of people would like to know how Telesforo pulled this off. Also, I personally would like to see regulations amended to help prevent this sort of cheating from happening. So what did they really ping him on? They actually technically pinged him on a hunch, right? Except for the fact that the optimal solve software gave a result which was very like what he presented as the solution. So you can kind of understand. I mean, I personally, on a personal level, I can't understand why he would do it and why he would try and defend it. But then I can understand, if he is trying to defend it, why he would say, what have I actually been pinged for? What am I actually being pinged for here? Do you see what I mean? So that's where I am. That's where my head's at right now, everyone. Okay, let's keep looking. So here we go. Here's a follow-up from the WCA. Dear community, during the investigation of the incident at the Perry Open, the WCA board found evidence that the WCA regs were not correctly followed. There were two specific problems we discovered. One, competitors were acting as judges and scramblers before competing in that round. Oh, okay. So it's possible that he could have scrambled his own round. It's not possible that he could have, or he could have gone to the optimal solution thinger and memorized it. I don't know though, hey. While this is standard practice in many competitions, it is only acceptable when there are multiple groups with different scrambles, of course. In this case, only one set of scrambles was generated for every event. So competitors competed using the same scrambles that they had previously seen while judging or scrambling. Now, okay, that's interesting and kind of leads credence to something that I was wondering. Although I think there's a fundamental problem with this, but you're in a round of 3x3. Everyone's getting the same scrambles. That's a mistake. They've picked that up. Yes. Could you, at this point, could you learn the scramble backwards? Could you learn the scramble backwards in that time, in that situation? Is that something he could possibly have done? And then, obviously, if he had submitted his solution and they'd gone, well, that's the scramble backwards, you cheat, you egg. He couldn't submit that. Is it possible, given that he did an X2 as well at the start of his execution, is it possible that he could have learned his scramble backwards Just an idea. This violates regulation, blah, blah, blah. Scramblers and judges for a round should not scramble for judges or competitors in their own group before they have finished all of their attempts for the round. They may scramble for judge competitors in their own group at the discretion of the WCA delegate, but the organisation team must ensure that scramblers and judges cannot see any scrambles for their attempts that they have not attempted yet. Scrambled cubes. Oh, here we go. Excuse me. 2, sorry for all the people who hate burps. Scrambled cubes sitting on the scrambling table were left uncovered. We saw that. There's evidence of that. And competitors were able to stand near the scrambling table. We saw that and see these cubes. This violates regulations, blah, blah, blah. Scramble sequences for a round must be available only to WCA delegates and scramblers for the event until the end of the round. The scrambler places a cover over the scramble puzzle. Yes, 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 yes. After discussion with Uriel, the WCA delegate at this competition, we have decided that no solves from this competition will be accepted as official. The WCA regs exist as standards of fairness for all competitions, and these standards were not met. The WCA cannot guarantee that competitors did not gain unfair advantage because of those irregularities. We remind all competitors to be familiar with the regulations and to talk to their delegate if they see any problems. This way, irregularities can be addressed early before the board has to take action. The entire community should work together to hold fair competitions. We'll be working closely with the Mexican cubing community to ensure that these issues do not arise again and that future competitions are held to standards of our community. Well. So what have we learned, everyone? Did we learn much from Martin's interview? At this point, without a decent translation, not really. There's too much room for mistranslation to actually glean anything from that. All I can tell, and this is just my own opinion subjectively, he was kind of going wah wah wah, like it was everyone's fault but mine. Being suggesting that he was victimized, I'm not sure about that. Ultimately the entire competition was nuked. Hello, Silentema in the chat. He said, hello, Mexican here. Hola. Hold on. Silentema, were you around? Were you cubing at the time of this competition? Did you go to the Perry Open? Curious Nick, we learned if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a cuber cheating. Valid. So yeah, he was back to, yeah, where did I get to? He was saying, wah, 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 it was everyone's fault but mine. Jupiter was in alignment. The gravitational pull was too much. Was that Chang in the chat? Chang in the chat? I'm positing the theory that if he didn't run to an optimal solution generator and generate an optimal solution and learn it at the competition, he must have had access to the scramble at this before the competition. So I feel like he could have learned the scramble backwards, potentially, but then covered his tracks later. Chang, if he didn't defend himself so much, the comp might not have been thrown out. Arguably. Curious Nick, it was the cube's fault, based. No, there was a downsolve. Hold on a minute. Jaden said earlier on. Jaden got a 5.48 following that solution while using a modern cube. He would have been on some horrendous hardware back in 13. Zanchi or something, like an OG Zanchi. I don't know. I wasn't cubing in 2013, to be honest. I started in 16. Shout out original Waylong GTS gang. Silentema. Nope, but I'm sure Telesforo cheated. All right. Did they actually refer to it as Alfeo? Well, I guess JS Cuber said it was Alfeo. DNF clock theory. We are just finishing up about Telesforo 4.41. So, our sources. StuCube's video and Speedcubing TV's videos. They put forward the case that the solution is just improbable and impractical and it's just not believable. We heard some badly translated words from Martin. His fault about the translation. Sorry, my fault about the translation, not his. He said, wow, everyone hates me. It was real, I swear, it was real, I swear. It was everyone else's fault but mine. And then we've had a look at the WCA reports. First of all, the WCA binned his solve because of the closeness to his solution to the optimal solution software they used. They generated an optimal solution in the software and it was really close to his solution. So that was suspicious. And Spanish Empire, he also keeps saying about random moves and the fact that he made a mistake and stuff. And it's just like his story has changed a number of times about his actual solution. Origami Ader, yes, they actually refer to him as El Feo. That's not very kind because El Feo means the ugly, right? That's not very nice. But my understanding was that it's about the situation. They're not saying he's ugly. They're saying the situation's ugly, right? Was my understanding. That's why I used it in the thumbnail and the title. I wasn't trying to be mean. And I think that's about all we've got today on our mate, on old mate Martin Telesforo El Feo. I think we're probably going to move on. What I'm going to do is have a little snacky, everyone, and then see what everyone says in the chat. All right, where's my music? Here we go. Here's my snack music. I hope you're all good, everyone. I hope you're all good. Origamiator, that's what I understood too about the Alfeo stuff. All right, cool. Cool. Oh. Shoot. Curious Nick. We're all being unfair to Martin. He invented a new method on the spot and we just didn't understand it. He's just operating on a different level. That's what's happening. What? I didn't know that. So he changed his story. That's sus. Are they good reasons? Are they bad reasons? That's up to you to decide. If you can remember when you averaged 17, did you ever drop a 4? I doubt it. Confession was beat out of him. Not literally. I mean, I'm not saying that they are racist or not, okay, but it was a little strange. Jupiter was at closest orbit to Earth than any other competitions I've been to. Its gravitational pull made me turn in the opposite direction on the L and B layer, and it solved the cubes for me. Based. The chance that even a few random turns do anything is 1 in a trillion. 1 in 13 quintillion. Am I right, everyone? Am I right? Thank you. Oh, the judge said it was fine, so I said it was fine. Sir. Oh, poor Martin. Everyone's changing their story, and it's everyone's fault but Martin's is what I'm getting from this. You need to see the report. Sounds like a lot of wah. It does, eh? If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a cuber cheating. Valid. He said, wow. Everyone hates me. It was real, I swear. It was real, I swear. It was everyone else's fault but mine. We're all being unfair to Martin. He invented a new method on the spot and we just didn't understand it. He's just operating on a different level. What a terrible situation when I'm your best hope.